So after getting the argument of z, which is 3 pi over 4, we are going to express that algebraic form into polar form, which is z equal to r into bracket cos angle plus I sine angle. So we're remaining with r. How do you find r? R is the modulus of z, which is root a squared plus b squared, b squared. So now that is root negative 1 squared plus 1 squared, which is root 2. So our r is what? Root 2. So z now is root 2 into bracket cos 3 pi over 4, then plus I sine 3 pi over 4. So that is the answer. So that one was C. Then D. If we say that Z is negative 1 minus I, how can I express that into polar form? Because it is an algebraic form. So when you draw our circle now to know the location of quadrant, you see our A is negative. The negative side of x-axis is there. And B is negative. The negative of y-axis is here. You see, they will meet in the third quadrant. They will meet in what? Third quadrant. In the third quadrant, our angle, because it has crossed 180, it has crossed 180, now it will be pi plus. That's why you add, because it has crossed what? 180. So now our angle will be pi plus alpha. So what is tan alpha? Tan alpha is equal to b over a. So which is, we use 1 over 1. We don't consider, I told you that we don't consider this sign. Sign is when you're looking for tan alpha. We don't consider what? Sign is. We just consider positive signs. So tan alpha equal to 1 over 1, which is 1. Alpha is tan inverse of 1, where alpha is pi over 4. So after getting alpha equal to pi over 4, what is angle? Our angle is pi plus alpha, which is pi plus pi over 4. We find LCM. Our LCM is 4. That's 4 pi plus pi. So our angle is 5 pi over 4. So we're just meaning to find modulus, because you know that z equal to r into bracket cos angle plus I sine angle. So we already have the value of angle by meaning to find the r, which is modulus. Our r is the modulus of z, which is the square root of a squared plus b squared. So now it is square root of negative 1 squared plus negative 1 squared. So our r is root 2. That's the modulus. So after getting the modulus, come back here. So z will be equal to root 2 into bracket cos 5 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4, plus I sine 5 pi over 4. So our z is root 2 into bracket cos 5 pi over 4 plus I sine 5 pi over what? Over 4. So this is the value of z. So just what you have to do is to find the angle and to know the location. If you have to know which quadrant is your z located. After getting the quadrant, you find the angle and the magnitude. So let us try to see as examples like number 2. So now we have number 2, express A, z equal to 1 plus 3i, B, z equal to negative 4, C, z equal to a half plus 3 over 2i into polar form. So how can I express that one into polar form? Let me do B. You try A and C. So you have z equal to negative 4. This is like 0. This is like negative 4 plus 0i. So mean that our A is -4, our B equal to 0. So which quadrant is that? Which quadrant is that one? B is 0. B, which is 0, is our A is on x-axis, B is on y-axis. It is here. Then negative, it is on this side. So this line, you know that this line is 270 degrees. This line is 270 degrees, which is 3 pi over 2. 270 degrees. So now, what is our tan alpha, which is B over A? Our tan alpha, which is B over A. So our tan alpha is B is 0 over 4. So alpha is tan inverse of 0. You know that tan inverse of 0 is 90 degrees. But because it is in the third quadrant, this is third quadrant, it is in third quadrant, our angle will be 270 degrees, which is 3 pi over 2. Because it is in what? Third quadrant. Then from there, we need R. Our R is the modulus of Z, which is root A squared plus B squared. So then that is root A, that's -4 squared plus 0 squared. So this is root 16, which is 4. So our R equal to 4. So after getting R equal to 4, our Z is R into bracket cos angle plus I sin angle. So that is a 4 into bracket cos 3 pi over 2 plus I sin 3 pi over 2. Cos 3 pi over 2 plus I sin 3 pi over 2. So that is our Z, our Z. So if I can try C, our C is saying Z equal to 1/2 plus I root 3 over 2. So that which quadrant is this? This is first quadrant. And you know that in the first quadrant, because it is in first quadrant, because our A is positive, even Y is positive. So here in the first quadrant. And in the first quadrant, angle equal to alpha. Then tan alpha equal to B over A. So our A is 1/2, B equal to root 3 over 2. This is 3, root 3 over 2. So tan alpha will be equal to root 3 over 2 divided by 1/2. So then tan alpha, it is finally equal to root 3. Then alpha is tan inverse of root 3. So how do we get tan inverse of root 3? So alpha is, so now, what will be tan inverse of root 3? That is pi over, it is pi over what? Pi over 6. Is it pi over 6 or pi over 3? Because tan is the same as sine over cos. Tan is the same as sine over cos. So it is pi over 3, not pi over 6. It is pi over 3. So tan inverse over 3 is pi over what? If you use calculator, you have to get 60 degrees. So if our alpha is pi over 3, so it is in first quadrant where angle equal to alpha. So our angle is pi over 3. Then it's Z equal to R. Our R is, how do you get our R? Is R into bracket cos angle plus I sin angle. So I'm going to find R. R is the modulus of Z, which is root A squared plus B squared. So now our R is root a half squared plus root 3 over 2 squared. So this is 1 over 4 plus 3 over 4, which is root 4 over 4. The answer is what? 1. So our R equal to 1. So which means that Z equal to cos pi over 3 plus I sin pi over 3. So that's the answer. So now let us go to see how we can multiply. So now let's first do number 3 before we see multiplication and division. Convert CS of negative pi over 3 in an algebraic form. So when I have CIS of angle, this is the same as cos angle plus I sin angle. So which means that CIS of negative pi over 3 is the same as cos of negative pi over 3 plus I sin of negative pi over 3. So remember, from cos of negative angle is the same as cos of that angle. Then sine of negative angle is the same as minus of that sine angle. So this is cos pi over 3 minus I sin pi over 3. So therefore CIS of negative pi over 3 answer is, this is 60, cos 60 is a half, cos 60 it is a half, then sin 60 is root 3 over 2 minus I root 3 over 2. So that is the answer. I have number 4. Convert to CIS of negative pi over 2 in algebraic. In algebraic form. So now we have polar form. We are expressing it into algebraic form. How do you do that? When you have R, CIS of angle, this is the same as R into bracket cos angle plus I sin angle. So now we have 2 CIS of negative pi over 2. This is 2 into bracket cos of negative pi over 2 plus I sin of negative pi over 2. As you remember, cos of negative angle is cos of that angle. This is 2 into bracket cos pi over 2, then minus I sin pi over 2. And you know that cos pi over 2, that is 0, and sin pi over 2 is 1. This is 2 into bracket 0 minus I. So which means that 2 CIS negative pi over 2, the answer is 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times negative I, it is negative 2I. So that is our answer.